Welcome back. This is part 2 of Illuminations of Light audio blog on codependence. What steps do we take when we're learning to love ourselves again? Do things that used to bring you joy as a child. Get in touch with your inner child, because this is a critical part of the healing process and becoming whole again. Do things like coloring and coloring books. That's a great therapy for people who are learning to get in touch with themselves, or blowing bubbles, or flying a kite, or going for an ice cream cone instead of a bowl of ice cream. These may seem like small things, but seeing life through the eyes of a child is a good first step towards getting whole. Do you break the cycle of codependence and strive for self-empowerment and independence? Codependence is a condition that plagues many here in the United States. It's one of the #1 conditions in most relationships today. People who are trying to fill something outside of themselves get locked into these types of relationships on a regular basis. They take on many forms: addiction, abuse, isolation, and much more. We get into the mode of not loving ourselves and feeling like we deserve that on some kind of level. So we stay put even when it's detrimental to our well-being. It drains the heart and the spirit. When we are around negative people of any kind, they're stealing our energy, so we are left drained. If we do not put it back in, then we're leaving the door open for other more serious issues down the road. Apathy and accepting something or settling for something less is one of the most common results. People get so focused on their own person that they forget that they have their own life to live and a duty to themselves to stay healthy and happy. Therein lies the rub. If we do not believe in ourselves, this is a very difficult step. So how does one begin to break the cycle? Well, as we have already mentioned, loving yourself and believing you are lovable and deserving of love is a part of it. For guys, the bigger issue is learning to love at all. Most men are taught that love is a weakness, something that is not to be desired. Love is about conquest, not partnership. That being emotional or vulnerable is somehow a bad thing. Understand the opposite sex and how they think. This becomes important to understand and know. You see, men go into caves and work out their emotional stuff. Women, they have to talk about it with everyone around. A very key difference that most women and men do not even get about themselves. So learning to communicate again in a better way is part of the process. When you get the urge to jump in and save someone because they're not behaving in a rational or appropriate manner, wanting to fix them or the problem at hand, we have to learn to let them learn their own lessons. Allow them to go off and do what it is they do, because that's who they are right now. Most of us get locked into what could be. How many times have you heard that? Setting goals, there's nothing wrong with that. Working toward them, that's fine. But to live as if it's going to happen overnight, it's an unreasonable standard. Learning to not expect things from people is another key thing. When we expect people to behave or respond in a certain way, we are trying to control the outcome. We usually will just get the opposite of what our thinking is by the law of opposites, thus setting ourselves up for disappointment. When we get into this victim martyr syndrome, so the cycle begins of not loving ourselves enough to break it. So learning to communicate our boundaries to people we love, which will oftentimes result in a lash out from those who are closest to us, but will eventually turn itself around. This can take years in some instances. Some ideas to take the first steps. Take up a hobby in your spare time. Do reading or writing or running or charity work, something to occupy your own time. The more you keep your own world and interests, the less you will be thinking of the bad stuff or the other person. And when you do meet someone you enjoy, you will have something to share, something to offer to help you both grow and keep the love lines flowing. Most relationships become stagnant because we come to a point where we feel that we have given everything, but what happened to me in the process? We lose ourselves and others' definitions of what we should be: mom, dad, brother, sister, whipping post, scapegoat. Doesn't matter which position it is, it's still not us and who we are inside, really. In giving too much of ourselves up, this is a common result. So do you. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? Without another person being involved, learning to enjoy your own company is key. All baby steps. Do not push yourself too hard or you will feel overwhelmed and not want to continue the process voluntarily. And I say this because once you start, there really is no turning back. Make a list and check it twice. Make a list of the perfect things ideally that you would want in your mate. Then check yourself against that list. Are you all of those things that you are looking for? If your answer is no, then you are not ready for a serious committed relationship because you are seeking those qualities outside of yourself. Secondly, check that list against the ones who have been in your life. How did they match up on that list? If they didn't, what qualities are you willing to work around or compromise or can live with? Then what qualities can you not stand, ones that you can't compromise or live with? Do the same for friends. What is a friend to you? What does that look like? Are you a friend to others? Be totally honest. Putting the various relationships up on the board and looking for the patterns, you will see what the programming is that they feed. This is part of learning to be responsible for the things which happen in our lives. We often bring people to be the mirror to look at these very things. Most people just do not know where to start, so making a list is a great tangible way to look at yourself and your life and relationships honestly. People talk about writing a journal. This would be a part of that journey. The greatest love affair that you could ever have is one with yourself. You have all you need within you to be a whole person. The question is, are you willing to do the work that it takes to achieve that, especially if there's challenges and fears of abandonment, fears of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of success, and all the other fears. These are all challenges we come to the table with in our lives. Overcoming them, having the understanding, and knowing that you survived it only feeds the fire to love yourself. Confidence is not exaggerated ego, the way some would see it or you. So love you. It takes two whole people who complement one another to make a lasting relationship. 1 and 1 equals 2, not 1, like all the songs and propaganda would have you believe. Get back to basics. Fireproof, the movie and the book, lay a great way to achieve this for couples who have been together for a while or just starting out. We are not our story or anyone else's. We have the power to change ourselves. How we see things makes a big difference. Looking at ourselves is hard work, but so worth the journey and the destination. How can you hope to find love if you don't know it exists within you always? Respect, common courtesy, communication. We get so lost in our corporate and survival mentalities we forget these basic things in our relationships and interactions with people. You have to give without expectation of something in return. The laws of cause and effect, the laws of attraction, the golden rule, all tell you the natural result, but expectation will attract the law of opposites.